Senator Ojy Okpe needs to tell us what he has against this woman. Let's forget about what that BKO of TVC, a compromised news channel, a Tinubu's channel, is saying, that the court only recommended. Now, it has been proven that in the constitution, the court's recommendation, the court's order are the same. They are all binding. So the senator has right to come and resume today. And if she comes there and they stop her, they are denying her her fundamental human right to represent her constituency. You know, so in the end, the constituency she's supposed to represent, they'll be denying her that if they do that. And then she has every right to be there. What this man should do is to pack, you know, human rights activists, everybody, Aisha Yusufu, Eze Kwesili, everybody there, and they block the National Assembly gate, because those people that are there are not honorable. They are a disgrace to Nigerian politics, and this woman has to fight for her right to be able to fight for the rights of our people. Now let's listen to what, you know, Arise News has to say, and I'll give my comments.
The ongoing dispute between the Nigerian Senate and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, has taken a new dimension. The Senate over the weekend issued a warning to Akpoti-Uduaghan to desist from forcefully resuming her legislative duties until the expiration of her suspension, despite a federal high court ordering her reinstatement on July 4th, deeming her suspension from the Senate excessive. The Senate leadership appealed the decision and has not allowed Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan to resume her duties. Akpoti-Uduaghan's legal counsel has issued a rejoinder to the National Assembly, stressing that the court's judgment is binding and that the Senate has a constitutional duty to comply. Meanwhile, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan has announced her intention to resume her legislative duties on Tuesday, July 22nd, and her legal team has indicated that further legal action may be pursued if the judgment is not enforced.
But I have pretty much 2 months more before the 6 months expire. However, I have written to the Senate again, telling them that I'm resuming on the 22nd, which is on Tuesday, by the special grace of God. I will be there to resume because the court did make a decision on that. Now, they argue that it's an order. It's not an order, but it is a decision. And if you look at Section 318, I think, of the Nigerian Constitution, it did mention that the recommendation forms part of the decision of the court. So whether it's a recommendation, a judicial decree, a sentence, or an order, they are all decisions, and decisions are binding on every Nigerian and every authority and every institution. So I'm going to be there live to attend. But I also know that the Senate will be going on recess very soon, maybe most likely next week for 2 months. That means by the time the Senate resumes, my 6 months will have lapsed. And I will go back. I will resume.
All right. She's saying that she will resume on Tuesday, that decisions are binding. I mean, their opinions are divided. But I'd like to read a comment from Femi Falana, SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who I believe over the weekend had emphasized that the Senate cannot disregard the court's decision, stressing that once a court has delivered a determination, whether by judgment, order, or recommendation, it becomes binding and enforceable under Nigerian law. And that's from Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I mean, this case is going to continue to unravel as we see it here. Over the weekend, the Senate is saying that she cannot return. She's saying that she has to return. I mean, I don't even understand how far we're going to go with this conversation. But as we'll do on this table, we'll continue to follow up on the story.
So this is surprising because the Nigerian Senate now makes laws and interpret the laws. Nigerian judiciary, this is over to you. You cannot allow the Nigerian Senate, with all its disrepute, bring you to disrepute. You know, this is the worst Senate leader so far. May God come to the side of the righteous people, because I don't understand what is going on. I don't understand what's going on here. This is very, very bad. The Nigeria people are tired of Senator Natasha and Akpabio's case, you know, which is supposed to have been buried just the way we buried former President Buhari. The Senate should be serious about Nigeria, not their selfish goals. Millions of Nigerians are going through a lot. All this nonsense should come to an end. Akpabio should be serious for once and talk and do the things like a reasonable leader, not like the one we see him dancing around like an antelope who has nowhere to go. Leadership is not easy. Responsible leaders achieve so much. But Akpabio wants to go down in history as the worst Senate president. Why? So Despite the recent court judgment declaring a suspension unconstitutional, the Nigerian Senate, led by Ojy Okpe, yes, you guys right, the man who wants to go into the bottom of other women, has insisted that there will be no going back on the suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, as if he is the God. He is the one now interpreting the laws and is the one now implementing the laws, if not that he has a personal thing against her. Now, as Senator Natasha is expected to make a dramatic return to the plenary today, and if she gets there, God help her, let me see what these senators will do to her. Senator Natasha, we all know, representing Kogi Central, was suspended since March 2025 on Saturday. Now, I've announced her intention to resume legislative duties, which is her constitutional right, citing the Federal High Court ruling on her backing. Now, she says, and I quote, "I have pretty much 2 months more before the 6 months expire. However, I have written to the Senate again, telling them that I am resuming on the 22nd, which is on Tuesday. By the special grace of God," she stated during a constituency training program. And then finally, she concludes, "I will be there." Yeah, she said she will be there in flesh and blood, because the court did decide on that. Now, they argue that it's an order. It's not an order, but it's a decision, she added. If the court has said that something is unconstitutional, then it is unconstitutional. So if I say it is unconstitutional for you to park your car in front of my house, then you have to remove it. You won't say because I have not actually said remove the car, then you are not going to remove it. So this is the situation of Nigerian Senate, because we have nonchalant leaders, irresponsible leaders in the Senate. Imagine somebody telling Peter Obi not to come to a state, the governor of my state, who is largely seen as being illiterate, that did not even make a single credit in his WAEC, and you want us to listen to those kind of people, and they'll say honor your leaders. What leaders? Those kind of people are the people that when they die, they should be buried like ordinary citizens and not given national honor. Okpebolo was handpicked. If not for the zoning, who would have even put Okpebolo there? Even Oshomole, a very smart man, realized that this guy cannot be the governor of Edo State, and he wanted it to go back to Benin. But of course, it was against the zoning formula, and that was why he was lucky. And because APC is the party in power, they did everything possible to bring him there. There is no how that guy can beat Asue Ighodalo now. Look at him. He was described as a lean, thin headman by, Okonkwo yesterday on Arise News Television. So, Senator Natasha must resume today. Everybody that loves democracy should be converged at the National Assembly to be there for her and see that that woman resumes. Enough of this bullying. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I remain your boy, Adebayo Okoje. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Signing out. Peace.